this is Luba Love from Parenting Outside the Box, and today I'm swinging in the hammock as I do my live because little boy finally went to sleep. And this is part of my sleep training series that I have going on right now because I am currently sleep training my 3-month-old, and I'm taking the very gentle approach. So basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to put him down without a boobie. That's the most important part. And just trying to calm him down any other ways, as gentle as possible, and like with at least as little interference as possible. So for example, like putting a hand on him is a lot gentler than me picking him up. That's a lot more interference. So if my hand isn't working on his chest, then I'll go and maybe try to turn him over and keep him in my arms, give him more body connection. Picking him up would be like if that's not working, And my last case scenario, if all else doesn't work, is of course the boob. I don't want to have a really, really grumpy kid, but I haven't had to pull it out yet since I've committed to doing this, which was maybe 3 days ago. So up to this point, it's been actually pretty glorious. The last 2 days, he's had really long naps, like 2 hours, and he was amazing at it. The only thing is he still needed his binkie, so I took away like the swaddle so he can move around more. We still have kept the binkie, and that's kind of what's holding him back right now. It was really hard putting him down just now because his binkie kept on falling out of his mouth, and then he'd wake up and up and up and up and up, and I had to keep going back in the room. So I tried to like encourage him to put his hands in his mouth instead, so he can obviously use his hands all the time, not the binkie. He can't really, go and reach for it yet and put it in his mouth because he still loses control in his arms sometimes. So instead, I've been trying to kind of like be an example. I lay down beside him, started sucking on my hand to show him. That worked a little bit, but he didn't calm down. So finally I put the binkie back in after trying a couple different ways to show him about the hands, which he does sometimes suck on. It does work sometimes, but this particular nap, it did not. So I put the binkie back in, and finally I put like a little stuffed animal that had a little bit of weight beside him like this. So his binkie actually stayed in and didn't fall out. So finally we have a nap that started. Yeah. Whew, I get to relax, hence I'm in the hammock. And yeah, it's been really interesting preparing him for this. So for example, with Maya, with my first, I was using the boob to put her down up to 5 months, and it started getting harder and harder and harder, and at the end there was just so much resistance that I knew she needed a different solution, but I wasn't really sure what that was. So I looked into it, and I found the Happy Sleeper, and we tried that motive, and basically that's all about connecting with your child through your voice, every 5 minutes, checking in with them. If they're crying, so then that way they know that you are there and you're reassuring them. And that was pretty challenging. There was more crying than I wanted there to be, for sure. Of course, every parent wants to imagine that there's no resistance whatsoever, but there was some. And it was kind of challenging. It was a challenging time. Maybe like a week, I remember, too, were pretty hard to transition into that. But once she got the hang of it, it was amazing. And she started sleeping so much longer, and connecting her naps, connecting her night times, needing less feeds at night. So in general, I became, instead of a zombie mother, I actually became a real person again. So that was at 5 months though, and that was quite the transition. We transitioned her into her own room at that point too, put her in the crib, a lot happened all at once. So I get that was pretty challenging for all of us as a new skill to learn at that time. So with my second, I was trying to, encourage self-soothing from the very beginning. I put him down to sleep sometimes without, if I can, if he fell asleep in my arms, I tried to put him down right away. I tried to bounce him sometimes to rock him or walk him, or, have other people put him to sleep, the hammock. I just tried a lot of different things so he doesn't just get used to a certain way, which is the boobie. And I think that helped us along the way. So then when he got a little sick for maybe a week or something, he had a cough and stuff, so I was giving him more boob, And my 7 hours of stretches of sleeping at night, yes, they were happening when he was about 2 months old, very quickly came to an end. So I had to adapt to that, and there was more and more nursing. And I noticed that even after he got better, he still wanted that much. And he kept actually wanting more and more. And it got to the point where one night he literally asked for a boob every hour. And I felt like that was my only way to put him down during the night. And so I was exhausted that day. The next day, again, I felt like a zombie. And that's when I decided that sleep training must happen now. And we need to do something about this. And I'm really glad I did that. Because since then, as I said, he's been so much better. He's been sleeping for up to 2 hours. I have had to help him a few times, putting the binkie back in, for example. And he's been sleeping through the night so much better. We're down to like maybe 4 feeds a night, and he actually stretches 2.5 hours between feeds at nighttime, sometimes even more. So it's been a lot easier, and my husband's actually away right now. So I'm really grateful that I started this process before he left, because it would be a lot to do without him around. So he'll be back in a few days, and he's been awesome. He's been taking him in like the first feed at night, which is usually around 10, and then the second at 1. Last night, I think he actually joined the 2 feeds together for the first time, so I think he like went till like 12:30 or something, which was nice, and then we switched. So I was on after that. And that's been working for us. And how we do that is we have a bottle. You know, I like to use the haka. I like to put the haka on my boobie when I'm nursing, on my free one, so it catches all my downfall, and it's a silicone cup, so it just keeps on sucking it out. And then I'm left with like a nice amount of milk. It ranges from like nothing, sometimes it doesn't work, to like 3 ounces. So it's pretty awesome, considering like a average feed for him is like 2.5 ounces at this point. So yeah, so sometimes I can get like a whole feed just from one time sitting there. And I have learned that if your husband's massaging your feet at the same time when you have the haka in, you're producing a lot more. So that is also a nice little trick that you can tell your men about that, and hopefully, or women, whoever's around you, if they want to help you feed your baby with a bottle, maybe ask them to rub your feet. So yeah, so that's kind of a little bit more about the preparation that went into sleep training, what our nights look like, what our days look like, and catch me next time. I think I'm going to start to talk about a little bit more about elimination communication next, which do not think that is potty training. It's not potty training. It's not diaper free time either. So it's something in between, and I'll tell you more about it next time. All right, ciao, ciao. Have a good one. And if you're not following me already, please do so at Parenting Outside the Box. Thanks a lot. Ciao.